Hi, Azariah. I know that when you get this recording, it will be very hot out, probably. Or even if it's not hot out, it certainly won't be snowy out because it'll be summertime. But I chose a book anyway that's set in the winter called Snow Castles. Castles, this word right here, castles is a tricky word. Um, because some of the letters, this STL sound sort of blends together. Castles. And it's almost like you don't even hear the T. Manny shivered as he stared out the window. Snow covered the cars and the buildings. It covered the sidewalk. I wish it was warm and I was at the beach, he muttered. When you read this book, Azariah, or when you hear me read it to you, it'll probably be warm. I don't know if you'll be at the beach. Let's look at these two words, though, next to each other, window and snow, because we've seen the word window in some of our other books. And I just want to remind you of that sort of OW sound at the end of these words. The W is a little bit silent. Window, snow. Manny had only been to the beach once, and he loved it. It was warm and sunny that day. He'd swum in the water, and he'd run on the beach. This is a very unusual word, Azariah, swum. You may not see that word very much in your life. This is part related to the word swim or the word swam. Only this is swum, but it's about swimming. He'd collected shells and made sand castles. Now it started to snow. I wish I was at the beach, Manny said again. Manny went to his room and pulled out the photo album that was under the bed. He also pulled out a box of shells that he'd collected from the beach. He sat on his bed and looked at his pictures. Did you have a chance, Azariah, this year to learn about contractions? Do you know what this kind of a word is with this apostrophe here in the middle? It's called a contraction when you take two different words and you sort of smush them together and you get rid of some of the letters and you put this apostrophe in instead. So if you stretched this contraction out, it would be he had, right? Box of shells that he had collected. But when you smush he had together, you get he'd. There he was in the photo, splashing his brother Emilio, who splashed him back. The next photo showed Manny running on the beach, and Emilio was chasing him. But Manny's favorite picture was the sand castle that he and Emilio had built. The sand castle had two towers and a big wall around it. It even had a moat. They had decorated the sandcastle with shells. There's that word castle 3 times on this page. Sandcastle, castle. If only we had soft white sand now, Manny thought as he looked out the window. Snow floated from the sky. Hey, he thought, we don't have soft white sand, but we do have soft white snow. He jumped up from his bed. Do you think that Manny has an idea, Azariah? Emilio, come here, he called. Emilio stood in the doorway. What's happening? He asked as he saw the photos and the shells. Are you going to the beach? Do you want to build a snow castle? Manny asked. Emilio grinned. Sure thing, he said. The boys bundled into warm clothes. They chose a spot near the sidewalk and built their castle. It had 2 towers and a huge wall. The moat was deep. They even built a drawbridge. Have you seen this word before, Azariah? Moat. Do you know what a moat is? A moat is when there's like a big, deep river of water that sort of runs around a castle to keep people from being able to get to the castle. Something's missing, Emilio said. Manny agreed. I'll be right back, he said, and raced to his room to grab the box of shells. The boys decorated the snow castle. They stood back and looked at their work. It's not a sand castle, Manny said, but a snow castle is just as good. There's another one of those contractions, Azariah. Do you see it right here? It's. If you stretched that out, the 2 words would be it is. It is not a sandcastle. When you can push them together for a contraction, you get rid of that I and you do it's. So what did you think of that book, buddy? Pretty interesting how Manny was able to come up with an idea. Sand and snow are similar when it comes to building stuff. So if you find yourself this summer, maybe a little bit bored, not sure what to do, wishing it was a different season, try and look around and see if there's anything that you could turn into something else. Bye, buddy.